Hi everybody, it's Cathy, and today I'm starting a new series. It's called Craft Fair Journal Series, and there's going to be probably about 5 or 6 videos in this series, maybe a few more, and it will be focused solely on journals that you can sell at your craft fairs. These journals will be simple, they will be inexpensive. The reason I'm doing this series is in my craft fairs, I like to offer a wide variety of journals. When someone comes to your booth at a craft fair, they like to be able to buy something, and there's not everybody's able to purchase my very best journals, which can go anywhere from $50 to $100. So I start with really inexpensive journals. Some I offer as little as $5, some $10, some $15, and so on. The materials are very inexpensive. So let me show you with the one we're going to start with. This is a journal I just made. It's made using a journal that I purchased at the Dollar Tree. I bought a bunch of them, and they're nice small books. They're about 5 by 7 and have about 60 pages in them. And I'll show you how I'm going to alter these. Sorry for moving the video right then. So let's get started. First, I'll take you through what I've made. I have a little charm. The charm, if you haven't seen another video, I'll put it in the description. I have a tutorial on how to make these simple charms. They're made out of craft board. This I beaded, added a ribbon to, hole punched it, and attached it to the journal itself. I have a little bit of lace. I covered the book in simple paper, not cardstock. It's able to bend and give a little more easily. I simply punched a hole and added some twine for the closure. Remember, these are simple journals. I have a little corner spot with a tag and a button. And pretty much all the journals I make like this, I'll make about 10 of them to sell. I will make them the same way, maybe different colors. I always include a bookmark in my journal. This is almost a full page pocket. I add something about every 6 pages. This is a belly band with a couple of cards. And I added a little bag with a little decorated index card. Very simple. Whoops. And here is a decorated triangle pocket or tuck spot with a card, 2 little cards. 6 pages more. I have a pocket, a top pocket, and a side pocket with tag and a card. And a little cutout using a punch that says love. We go another 6 pages. It's another corner spot with a little pad with index cards. And then going to the back, another pocket with a card. And that's it. Very simple. What I plan to do at the craft fair is also offer a little bag of ephemera that they can also purchase to add to their journals. And at the end, I'll be going over what I would price this for and how I would package it. I want to give credit to Lyric810. She's got a wonderful YouTube channel. She does a craft series every year. Her series isn't focused on journals, but she does have a few journals. She has lots of stuff in there, but she really goes into details about how she packages, where she gets her packaging material, and how much of a difference it makes. Okay, so that's it. Let's get started. First thing I did was I picked out the papers that I wanted to use. I decided that I'm going to use the yellow for the cover, and then I found some coordinating different papers. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is cover the journal. Now, when I cover these journals, keeping in mind simplicity, I cut this out, this paper out already to about 7 by 10.5. A little over 7 by 10, a little over 10.5. I'm not going to tuck it on the inside. I did try that with my last journal, and because of the binding, I had a little bit of difficulty. So I'm not going to do that. I'm simply going to glue this on. I always love this glue. It's art glitter. I like it because of the nozzle. I always keep a pin handy and an eraser so that I can always have something available to clear the spout. And I'm just going to add glue to the whole thing, paying careful attention to the edges. Last year I was very successful in my, well, I thought successful in my craft fair. I sold a lot of the less expensive items. I made about, in a 5-hour day, I made about $400. So it was a pretty good haul for me. It was my very first craft fair, so I learned a lot. So I'm going to make sure it's all lined up. Make sure it's tight. And simply fold this around. I'm going to let it dry a bit before I try to open it. I'm making sure, and you can use your bone folder here, I'm making sure that I go inside the little edge of the binding so it doesn't bunch up. And then I want to smooth it out. Make sure that glue gets nice and stuck everywhere. I'm going to, while that's waiting, before I cut the excess, I am going to punch a hole where I will have my closure. And I'm going to use the larger side, and I'm going to punch it right about there. I'm not a measurer, so sometimes that's not a good thing, but most of the time it works out okay. I'm also going to put a smaller hole up at the top because this is where I'm going to add my charm. Right up there. And I'm going to do that closer to the end so it's easier to open. Now you'll notice I have all this white here. I do want to cover this up. And I probably should have waited to punch the holes until after I covered it. But anyway, I think I'm going to use this pretty green inside. And as I told you, I'm not a measurer. So I'm just going to cut. Please feel free not to do as I do. You're welcome to measure. And it probably would have been better, then I wouldn't have to trim it right now. But I do. And I just have to trim a little smidge off the end. No problem. There we go. Perfect. And let me add some glue. Make sure it's straight. Always like to use wet glue. It's a little more forgiving when you're trying to move it around and get it in the right place. And since we're here on the front, I'm going to re-punch those holes that I should have waited to punch. And get it right in the right place. There we go. Okie doke. That'll teach me a lesson. Actually, it really won't. I'll do the same thing again. Okay, let's put this one in the back. And it's fun to get these at Dollar Tree and transform them. I think I'm ready to trim the overage on the cover, because they're so inexpensive and it's a good binding, and they make such a pretty journal. I'm going to put something here and perhaps a little lace. I always like to make sure I have a little plate here with kind of everything that I use or I think I'm going to use. So I have it out and ready to go. Cut that little lace. I'm running out of lace. I have to get some more. And I want to use my heart punch. I love this punch. It's by Fiskars. It's a heart with the word love in it. And I want a different color though. It's a color that will stand out. Maybe a darker color. So I'm going to cut a heart here. Oh, that was 2 pieces of paper. It also cuts out the letters, the love, if you wanted to use those for something, which I don't. Oh, it's got a black one. Well, I kind of like the black one. I think we'll use that. Okay, so let me glue this down. And I'm going to put this down. I always like to include lace and rhinestones in my journals, even these simple ones, because even though I'm not charging very much for this, I still, first I want it to reflect me. I don't want to give out a bunch of garbage, but I like to look nice. Some people just can't afford it, but they still deserve to have something nice, right? And the fun thing is I do it because I love to do it. And I'm also going to add a rhinestone to this. Rhinestones are my friends. I love rhinestones. Maybe a gold one. And we'll put it right inside the O. Even though they're sticky back, I always add glue to make sure they stick. Okay. Cool. Now we're ready to start. On this page, I'm going to put a corner pocket, and I can save that heart I didn't use for later. Let me cut a corner. Let's see which is the prettiest. I like the pink over here. And see how it measures. It's just about right. I always like to cut off an edge and cut off another edge. And we'll put that right like that. I kind of like the shabby effect of mixed colors and patterns. I think it's kind of pretty. There we go. And we'll come back later to add some, what do you call it? Some cards. On this page, I'd like to put a full pocket. And I'm going to do that with the same material that I used for the corner pocket, just so there's some continuity. And I'm going to make it go just about right up to the top. And this is how I measure. I fold it on the line, and then I just cut it. I always cut a little less than where I folded it. And I guess it goes this way. Seems to be a direction. And then I'm going to cut out a little side here so people know it's a pocket. And I'm going to put glue down the side and across the bottom. Simple. Now, when I put in the, what do you call it? The card, which I'm going to do right now, I always like to include a rhinestone that will stick out. It's a little long. That will stick out right where that notch is. And I'm going to round the corners on the 1/2 side. Right there. And then I'm going to add a little rhinestone that peeks its way through. And on this one, I'm going to use a purple one. There we go. And we still need a card over here. And we're going to put that right there. Okie doke. So we have that and we have that. Then we're going to skip around 6 pages. Because remember I said there were around 60 pages in this book. So if I skip every 6 pages, that gives me about 10 places, 8 places to add something. So I just estimate it, 3, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't have to be exact. Actually, that was probably 8. And on this one, I'm going to just put a belly. Well, no, let me put, let's see, we have place. Let me put a bag. And I make things ahead of time. So these are the bags that I made. I did a tutorial on them to make glossine type bags from tracing paper, which is what I did with these. So let me figure out which ones I'm going to use. This one I made out of a napkin. Okay, so I have this larger one. It's too big, so I won't use that. I do have a smaller pink one that's really pretty. Or I have a blue one. That's pretty. Even though the pink probably goes with it, everything more, I don't think it matters because there's just so many flowers everywhere. So I'm going to glue this down. And put that right there. And on this one, in this one, I'm going to put a bookmark. And okay, that'll do. Let me straighten it up. And put a hole in the top. And I use the bigger hole for this one. I'm going to round the edges on the 1/4 side. And I'm going to ink it up a bit. Oops. I love to read, so I love to add bookmarks. And if you don't like to read or don't use bookmarks, you can always use it as a placeholder. And now I need a little bit of ribbon to put through the top. This one would be pretty. And we can cut it off, because I think this pretty teal color will show nicely through the top of the bag. That'll be pretty. Again, you'll notice I'm using colors or patterns that maybe don't go together, but I love that look. It's kind of a shabby look. But that's where that goes. I think that's pretty. Okay, so we're going to skip another about 6, 7 pages. And this time what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to glue some pages together and make another full pocket out of it. So I'm going to take 2 pages from the back and only 1 from the front. And I'm going to glue these together just to give it a little more stability. Then I'm going to take the top one and I'm going to glue it down the side and down the side. And before I do that, I want to cut out a notch. There we go. And then what I want to do is take a little snippet of paper, one with a lot of color, and I'm going to glue it right under the notch so the notch is visible. And that's all you have to do. And then on this page, let's see what we can do. Actually, this is pretty for a corner pocket because of all this beautiful. So I'm going to make a large corner pocket. I made it a little too large. Okay, so we're going to cut off a little bit and cut off a little bit. Remember how I said I like to notch it? Perfect. And I'm going to glue that up. I don't do this side to make it a little easier to get stuff in and out. But now I'm going to take that heart that we didn't use earlier, and I just think it'd be pretty right there. So I'm going to put that there. If you know me, you know that I like to put things at an angle. So here in this place, you have a pocket here, a pocket here. And for this one, I think I'll take an index card and add some lace to it and some color. Maybe turquoise lace. Do we want to put, yeah, lace going this way. And lace going this way. Add a little bit of lace. Glue it on there. I learned from, who did I learn it from? Gail, and I don't know how to pronounce her name. Gail Agnos something. Anyway, she has a tutorial where she listed her top 10 things to put in journals. And I took that and I made my own list of my journal must-haves. So it really helps me to have this. It gives me ideas as I'm going along of what I might have forgotten or what I want to include. Now, in these simplified journals for craft fairs, I don't include all of this. I would include all of this in my larger journals, but it still gives me ideas to use for my journals. I want to include some sort of color going across right under this card. So I'm going to take this and just slip it there, and it just gives it a little pop of color. And it's still a little too long. And I'm going to pop it in here. Okay, now we're going to go another few pages. And this one I want to include a full flap. Well, actually, I am going to use this. This, as you can see, I took off of a journal that I was making and saved it. So I'm going to use this. And all this is I took a square piece of paper. It was a 6x6 from a 6x6 pad. So all you do is, let me find a pretty piece of paper. This is kind of nice. All you do is first trim your 6x6. All you do is fold it, and you want to use double-sided cardstock or double-sided paper, preferably cardstock. You fold it and fold the edge back, and then add a pretty button. Let me add a pretty button here. And I'm going to add that button. And even though I might not use it this time, I'll use it again. And what's nice about this, you have a place in the middle. I'm just going to tack it on the very ends, like here and here, because I want to be able to use it more fully. So it comes out, I call it a triangle pocket. And what's nice, you have a spot here, so you have to glue this down. So you can put little cards in here and then use this flap here. In fact, let me put this in, and I'm going to trim this right on the end because it was a little bit too long, and right on this end. And we're going to glue that right in, right over my mess from before. And I love using these triangle pockets. I think they're so pretty. And it's nice, it has a little button. And we're going to make a card to go in there. Let's see. I think I have some cards that are already made up. This is a pretty one, the one with the butterfly. Whoops. Oops. And we're going to trim this down. And trim it down again. Cut off that kind of raggedy edge. And that can go right in there. And it looks very pretty with the butterfly. Okay, so far we have corner pocket, full page pocket, glossine bag, another corner pocket with a decorated index card with a full pocket, and we have a triangle pocket. Now we haven't done any belly bands, so we're going to jump up again several pages. And let's use a belly band. Oh, I think I'll use this pretty paper. Again. And okay. Perfect. A little glue there, a little glue there. Oops. And in this one, let's put a larger tag. And I think I have one here that I can cut. And it has to be able to fit, so it has to be trimmed just a little bit. I'm going to trim it. There's a kind of a line here that might help me not go off the page. Make it a little shorter. Then I'm going to cut the corner, and then I'm going to take that corner and put it in this corner, so that my corners are even. Then we're gonna put a hole in the top. I actually don't like that because it's a little too long. That's better. We're gonna put a hole there. And add a pretty ribbon. So where did we go? We're gonna pop this in here. Hopefully we're gonna pop it in here. Let me see if I can loosen it up. I seem to have, there we go. Put a little bit too much glue there. There we go. And maybe a rhinestone. Okay. So let's go a few more pages. And we'll make the pocket. So at the top, I want to cut the notch. here. I'm going to glue this down. And we'll put in another card in this one. Oh, this paper is so beautiful. The pretty butterflies. Okay, to cut it a little more. And let me round the corners on the half side. Whoops. Okay. And maybe ink it up just a bit. Sometimes I use brown ink. Other times I use black. I'm using the black here because it really coordinates with some of the papers a little better than brown would. And since I'm not going really for an antique-y look, it's more just to... There we go. Okay. Okay, we'll go another little bit. And I do have a piece of a doily, but it would have to be used over some darker paper. So let me cut a piece of darker paper. Oops. Sorry if I'm out of frame. Geez, I'm having a hard time today. And what I'll do, on this side, because I want the heart to be going this way, I'll make it into a little flap. I'll glue down the heart, but then make this into a flap after I round the edges. I'm just going to round the edges on the outside. So first I'm going to glue this down. Has your weather been crazy this summer? I live in Miami, and we always get a lot of rain in the summer, but it's been hotter than usual, if that's even possible. I lost my spot. Let me put it here. And for the flap, I'm just going to put glue on the very edge. And then what I like to do is take this and fold it back just a smudge so it gets used to, it gets scored a little. Okay, good. And we have to add a card there. So I'm just going to take, I have a pre-made card here. Excuse me. And I'm just going to use this, but I am going to round the edges all the way around. And ink it up a bit. Okay, and we're going to slip it right in there. make sure it fits. And I think on the back we need another full-page pocket, I think, or maybe just a vertical band. And I actually think I have. This is a pretty one. Oop. Yeah, and we'll just there, pop it there. I think here I can put another heart. I think it'll fit. See what color. I think it'll have to be a lighter color. So I'll use this one. I always lose my hearts in this thing. Oh, it's right here. You probably saw that before me. And add some glue. And let's put a card in here. Let's see. Simple Things card. Round the corners. And let's put some more ink on here. Okay. And then, do I need something over here? I think so. I think I need to cover this, maybe out of this same material if I have enough. Yes, perfect. Perfect. Okie doke. A little less. Okie dokie. Okay, that is it. So I need to put the string in. Pardon me. I did it again. Oh my goodness. You think I would learn, but no. There we go. Okay, did I put it through in there? I almost put it through the card. I tried my best to, but I missed it. And all I do here is tie a knot. Easy peasy. And if you do this for craft fairs, you can assembly line them. They're very easy. And obviously you can decorate it any way you choose. I always choose to do it simply because I will be charging only about $9 for this. Anywhere from 8 to 10. I haven't figured out quite how much. I have to see. It took less than an hour to make. It has to get tighter. And it didn't cost much to make. Probably the most expensive thing is the charm that I'm going to put on. So the charm is here. This is the charm I said I made in a tutorial. They're made out of craft board. And then I added some beads. This is easy to do. I am not a jewelry maker. You can go on YouTube and watch it, or really, you could probably just figure it out. But let me open this so I can put the charm on. This is very light gauge wire. I'm going to put it here, wrap it around, and wrap it. And that is it, except I'm going to be adding a little bit of ribbon here at the top, like I did on the other one I made. What you do need, if you're going to do any sort of charm beading on your journals, you do need a few tools, and to make it a little easier. But I think that's so pretty. I'm going to find some turquoise lace. Here we go. This turquoise lace, I get a lot of my laces off of Wish. If you haven't been to wish.com, the lace is you'll find a lot of things on Wish that are free, but you always have to check how much their shipping is, because that's where they get you. But even so, this is about 12 yards of lace. I got it for free, and the shipping was $2. So it still was worth it. You can't be in a hurry for it, although lately they've been much faster than usual. I'm going to try to thread this through the hole. If I get frustrated, then I'm just going to tie it around the wire and not worry about it. But I figure I'd at least try in the beginning. Try to do what I want to do. And voila, it worked. Okay. It's just a little more secure if you go through the hole. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to tie a little bow. And I think that just adds so much to it. So, what I do is I package these. I try to package them in clear bags that are self-adhesive, and I find those clear bags on clearbags.com. And packaging to me at a craft fair is everything. People are more inclined, don't sell your things by putting them in a grocery bag. Package them nicely. And then it's like, as Lyric says on her LyricLover810 YouTube channel, then you're like advertising your site at the craft fair by having nice packaging, because people are drawn to it and say, oh, where did you buy it? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. The next one that I will be doing is a craft board journal. And here's a sample of what that one will look like. And I'll take you through that. And that should be out probably in another couple of days. Okay, well, thanks for tuning in, and y'all have a great evening. Bye-bye.